Hey everyone, welcome to a special edition of News You Can Use. I'm your host, Brandon Gonez, and we have a one-on-one exclusive with a man who's basically, a lot of you have probably seen, a graphic video that included him. Basically, it's a black TTC rider who was beat up by police after he was accused for not paying his fare. Seriously. We'll get into it, but first make sure you subscribe to this channel right now, hit that notification bell, and make sure to follow us on all of our social media. So we talked about this graphic video. I mean, we've all seen this video, right? Before we get to it, I want to break down some of the facts of what took place, because this incident is now before the courts, but it originally took place on December 13th of 2019. The man, the TTC rider, his name is Chase Richards. He was riding the bus in Scarborough, in the east end of Toronto, when he was accused of not paying his fare. Take a look at part of this video. It shows the moment when Toronto police officers arrived on the bus. You can see it's quite graphic. Officers are seen grabbing Richards by the throat. At one point, you can even see them handcuffing Richards and then stepping on his back for more than a minute. All right, let's bring Richards into this conversation to get his side of the story. Chase Richards, thank you so much for joining us here on News You Can Use.
You're welcome, Brandon.
I want you to run us back in terms of what took place on the night of December 13th, 2019.
Basically, I just got on the bus just like any ordinary passenger. I entered at the back with my Presto, tapped it, and took my seat. After I sat down maybe less than a minute, a gentleman got up, walked towards the driver, came back, basically made contact with me, let me know that the driver wanted to talk to me about something. So I went up to see what was going on. Obviously, I went up to see what the issue was. He said that I should have entered at the front. I explained to him there's a machine at the back. I tapped my card. I also tapped it again in the front, so he realized that I wasn't cheating or anything like that, right? So, and he still wasn't comfortable after I paid at the back and then paid at the front.
Why do you think the bus driver didn't believe you?
Honestly, you would have to ask him that, because I tapped at the back and then I tapped my card twice in front of him, and he still had an issue. After, like, okay, for instance, he realized that the fear wasn't the issue, so he jumped to something else. He started critiquing how I smell like cigarettes and he doesn't want to ride with me. So I returned, I said, yes, that was his exact return to me. He said he doesn't want to ride with me because I smell like cigarette. So I said to him, what does me smelling like cigarette have to do with you doing your job? I'm not going to be standing beside you having a conversation for the duration of my trip, right? So during that whole time where they're talking for a couple minutes, two gentlemen came up just to see what was going on, right? One of them asked me basically what's the problem if I don't have enough money. So I took out my card again and I actually showed the two gentlemen, I tapped it again, showing them that the issue wasn't me paying. This man obviously has a problem, right? Maybe he was having a bad day or something. He admitted that to me, Brandon. I said, are you having a bad day? He said, yes, I'm having a bad day. He actually admitted that he was having a bad day, and maybe he just took out all his frustrations and anger on me, right?
So what happened next? What happened after those two gentlemen came up to you, those other passengers? You showed them that your Presto card, you showed them that clearly you already tapped. What did the bus driver do next?
He basically told everyone that the bus is gonna go out of service and everyone has to get off the bus. At that time, because I knew they called a cop, so I remained on the bus.
Do you mind me asking how come you didn't get off the bus?
Because I don't want them putting out that I did something that I didn't do or I try to cheat, because I paid my fare. And if I'm right, I am gonna fight for my rights.
So what transpired? What actually happened once, because two officers arrived, correct?
Right. Once the officers arrived, and he came on the bus, he wasn't directly talking to me. He was talking to the driver. So he
What was
said
he
to
saying?
the driver, he said to the driver, is this causing the problem on the bus? So I returned and I replied, I am not, because I paid my fare. And from there, that's when all hell broke loose, and he decided not to use his training and basically just try to hurt me physically.
So when you replied back saying that you're not that MFer,
Right.
how did he respond? How did that
He grabbed me
officer
by the
respond?
neck. He grabbed me by the neck. Okay, fine. You arrest me, you charge me, you put me in handcuffs, whatnot, right? I'm still laying on the ground, face down, right? Still saying I can't breathe and stuff. You know, the next thing that they did, they sat in the chair and they put his foot on me, sitting down,
What?
and have his foot, yes, while I'm laying flat. I don't know if you guys seen that video, seen that part of it, right? But I'm laying in the bus flat. And this man took a seat in the chair with his foot standing, and the next one standing on my lower back, my legs, while the other one has both his feet in the middle of my back, sitting down.
What was going through your mind?
It doesn't make sense for me to try to fight the police, right? Like my mom always instilled that in me. You know what? No matter what, the police is always right. You know what I mean? So I always have that in me. Like I'm not gonna get in no fight, no matter what. No, even when he's choking me, he threw me down to the ground. I had my hands up like this. I had my Presto card. Not once I ever tried to fight back. Not once. And that's what I give God thanks for, is that maturity and that understanding that there's no win with these people. You can't win. Even if I'm on the camera, they know that there's cameras on the bus. Do you think they give a rat's? They don't care. What they try to do is cover it up. After how many times they've done that to people and get away with it, right? That's why Black people, we have to give thanks for the cameras. We have to. Like, that's what's basically saving a lot of us right now. If it wasn't for these cameras and people taking pictures and stuff, all of this would have been gone down the drain. Like, I've been beat up by the police before. My 13-year-old daughter, she's been called police. The bus drivers called the police on her, right? Got her kicked off the bus, throw my daughter in handcuffs. Like, this has been going on. It's just now the light is so bright, it's hard for them to hide.
Chase, I know that both of these officers that were there charged with assault and attempt to obstruct justice. What is the end result that you want to see as this is before the courts right now?
Honestly, I don't think they should be police officers.
Do you want to see them lose their jobs?
Yeah, and I think they should be reviewed. So can you imagine all the other young people that had to deal with these guys that had no support, no one to talk for them, no video to show the light? Like, can you imagine how many things these guys have gotten away with? How many innocent people they have tortured and hurt?
Because you believe if they did it to you, they could have done it to other people as well.
100%, I believe that they have done that before.
Chase, you brought up it earlier in the conversation that you don't think you would have been treated like this if you weren't Black.
100%.
What message do you want the general public to know about your circumstance?
Even when you're right, you're wrong. I ended up getting charged, right? And I had to make a deal that basically what the deal was that they gave me after they beat me up and threw me in jail. He basically said to me, oh, we can let you out tonight if you agree to these terms. But if you don't agree to my terms, then you'll go to the judge, right? So at the time, I agreed to the terms. He's like, oh, you just agree that you won't go back on a TTC bus or on TTC property. So I'm like, how am I supposed to get home, right? Because my family, my mom, I live with my mom, so she's in Brampton. So I'm like, how am I gonna get home from here if I can't take a bus? He's like, oh, that's your job. You got to figure it out. You know what I mean? So to show you, after they beat me up, threw me in hell, then I have to go through another hell.
You're in good health.
Before I was arrested. So now I'm not in good health right now.
You look pretty good to me. There's not a scratch, a mark, an abrasion, there's no swelling. Do you agree?
No, I don't.
Okay.
You're not a doctor.
Chase, I wanna wrap up by asking you, do you think you'll ever be able to take the TTC again?
Honestly, I do take it, but I'm not comfortable when I take it. I'm scarred. I'm hurt emotionally, physically, and then seeing it all again. It ain't easy, man.
I want to say this. Thank you so much for being vulnerable and for sharing your story with us.
All right, have a good day, my friend.
So that was,
A lot.
it's a lot.
That was powerful.
Yeah.
I'm glad he was able to have a platform where he could talk about his side. Because when you read articles, it's very different. Like, we learned a lot more from him talking than the video showed.
I think for me, it was the emotion in his voice.
Yeah.
And the fact that he's probably going to be forever traumatized by this.
And it leaves to question what happened to the TTC driver. Why is no one talking about him? And what is the TTC doing to make sure that their riders feel safe now?
Yeah.
Because this video is going around, we all see it now. What are you going to do to make sure that everyone that steps on that bus feels safe?
It's going to be interesting to see what happens with this court case. But I think the one thing that I think we all should leave with is how many more people has this happened to and we actually don't know about? Let that sink in for a second. In the meantime, if you have any news stories you want us to look into, make sure to email us, news@brandongonashow.com. Don't forget that we drop News You Can Use every Tuesday and Friday. And if you haven't seen our latest episode of The BG Show, go watch it now. We basically talk about whether Canada should be canceled. Canada Day should be canceled this year. Chime in there where you can drop your opinions. In the meantime, we'll see you on Friday.
Bye.